Hey guys, welcome back. This is a Project Pan video, sort of. I've never done Project Pan videos because I feel like my whole life is a Project Pan. I've been involved in makeup and beauty and fashion and, other hobbies as well for my whole life. I've always had hobbies and things that I was interested in. And a lot of them do require collecting. Or they don't require it, but a part of it in a lot of cases is collecting. And you are in situations where you kind of need to use things up as you go. And so, I've always just had systems in place where I either use things up or I make sure that I use them if I have them. If it's not something that I'm going to eventually use till it's gone and throw away or get rid of, that I will just continue to collect and will continue to grow, I make sure that I use them in some way. So I'm not the type of person who, like clothes, I get rid of clothes when they fall apart. But just because something is not quite in style anymore does not mean I get rid of it. Or just because I, lost or gained 5 pounds does not mean I get rid of it and buy all new. And why do I not do that? Because everything comes right back into style. And there's nothing that I own that hasn't been in style, at least a handful of times in the last 15 years. And that is becoming more and more and more common now than it ever has been before, where, every other day it's now 80s is in, now 90s is in, now 80s is back in, now 70s is in, now 80s is back in, now 90s is back in. So there just is no point in kind of getting rid of things unless they're falling apart or torn up or super stained, or there's just nothing you can do with it. So clothes is one of those things where I rotate through them and I use them all. And even though my collection does kind of continually grow for the most part, because I'm careful with my clothes, I don't just get things and let them sit. I make sure that I use them. Same thing with books. I love to collect books. I have antique books. I have books that I've had since I was a child. When I buy a book, I buy it with the intention of keeping it. But I also don't just read a book once and then let it take up space. I actually read books over and over and over again. I kind of have a system where I work through and I read something new and then I read something old again and I read them in order and I keep them organized, whether that's alphabetically or by series or however you might want to do it, or even I might want to do it if I sort of change my storage system. If I have it, I'm going to read it. It's just not going to sit there and take up space. So I'm going to do something with it. I'm going to use it. And that's how I am with my beauty products as well. All of these people, if I see another declutter video, I think I'm going to, I don't know. They're making me crazy because it's so being driven by a lot of things, addictions to shopping, by people who are getting rid of stuff because they have brands given to them. The brands give them stuff, and yes, it takes up too much space. Some of them are pushing people to clear stuff out because now they're gonna be advertising their new product line, and they've done so well at getting you to buy their old product lines that they know that you're not going to buy the new ones unless you've gotten rid of the old ones so that you have space to buy the new ones, and then you're going to be wanting some new stuff and you'll buy the new ones. It just the whole thing for me just feels wasteful and just just wasteful in a lot of ways. A little bit dirty, like dirty, like shame on you, shame on you kind of thing. And everybody's different. Don't be offended if you're decluttering. Don't be offended that I'm saying this because, there are products that, will expire, that you will use up, or that cause you to break out, or that, whatever, that you had a bad experience with that you don't need to hang on to. And I am a collector. I've been in the beauty business for a long time, and I do collect certain things. And I have some products that are very, very old. I mean, I actually own products that have been around since makeup was like first available for purchase. You know, I have some very old things, and you know, things that have just kind of been passed down or other people have kind of collected in store that I have been able to acquire or have been handed down to me and that kind of thing. So, you know, I am a collector, but I use my stuff, and I'm not the kind of person who hangs on to empty packaging. I hang on to empty packaging to talk about it for you guys, like empties and that kind of stuff. But every single lipstick I finish and every single you know, bottle of lotion I finish and that kind of stuff, I don't hold on to those empty packages. That stuff gets thrown away. The only thing that I do hang on to that I empty when I empty them are perfume bottles, because perfume bottles take collecting to the next level, and there is money in perfume bottles. You know, that is something that people will pay a lot of money to get, a really old perfume bottle. So that's one thing where I don't get rid of those. I display them. I just keep them as a collection and display them. But if I use the same perfume, like say for instance, I use 3 bottles of the same perfume, I don't keep all 3 bottles. I will keep one of them, you know, and the rest I get rid of. So, in so many ways, my whole life, that's a pretty long intro. In so many ways, my whole life is kind of a project pan where I'm constantly making sure that I'm using my things, and I'm making sure that I'm being responsible in, you know, like trying to store them, or that they're not just sitting there and that it's not just money wasted. I don't want to spend money on things and not ever use them. So I'm very conscious about working through things and making sure I'm always implementing them, you know, here and there into my routines and that kind of thing. Now, as a part of that, because I am conscious, especially with beauty products, about making sure I'm using things up, I do have a system where I keep a log of the items that I get, and like when I got them, and also when things were discontinued. For example, if I show you guys a product that has been discontinued or is no longer available, if I haven't already put it on the list to be deadpan, to be used up, I will do it at that time. Like if it's the first time I've shown it to you and it's no longer available on the market, it was just recently discontinued, I add it to a list of products that have been discontinued. I won't say that I don't ever show it to you again. I do sometimes show you those again, but I tend to not show them. There's a possibility you might not see me mention it again, because I don't like talking about products that people can't buy anymore, aside from the fact that I do like to remind people that you own this, so go get it out and use it, right? So you hear me say that a lot. Like if you have this product, then go pull it out because it's a great time to use it now. Or don't forget you have it, it was really good, that kind of thing. You do hear me say that. But generally, once I've shown you a product like that once or maybe twice, and you can't get it anymore, then I add it to the list, and it kind of goes into this process where I am now purposely trying to use that product up. So part of what I do is, like with makeup specifically, I have an everyday sort of makeup routine that I can do with my eyes closed, and I don't really have to think about it, and it's habit. And I do it on the days like when I need to get up early and be somewhere, or I have to just go into the office. It's just a regular old day where I need to wear makeup, but I'm not trying to do any kind of special fancy look or anything like that. And on those kind of days, those are days where I'm using up my old stuff. So I have my entire everyday makeup routine, with the exception of 1 or 2 products. Every now and then I will try to use up a new product, or I will do a mix of a few new products with mostly old products. But for the most part, kind of my everyday routine is all old products from start to finish. And as I use them up, I literally go through that list and I pull the next one out that I need to use up based on either how, it's the oldest one that I have, or it's been discontinued the longest, that kind of thing. And I really just work my way through all those products. So I debated, I don't think, I'm not going to pull out all of the products that I am technically project panning, or that I'm dead panning, or that I'm purposely trying to use up, partially because I'm just too lazy to go through and drag everything out and wipe it off if it's in the shower or whatever. But partially because it's just old products anyway, and I don't know that that's really the interesting part of it. I think the interesting part for people who are doing project pan type videos, or have those type of challenges happening, is I think what they're really interested in is how people do it, or how people manage it, how people are actually managing the stuff, or the flow of stuff, or the process of making sure that they're using their things and using them up so they don't go to waste. So I feel like that's really what you guys are more interested in anyway. So what I thought I would do is, when I use something up, and as I am pulling out something that I'm now going to be focused on getting rid of, I'm going to show you what I pulled out, because I think you guys would be interested in seeing the old products, you know, like, oh yeah, I remember that, or I had some of those, or, you know, that kind of thing. So I'm going to show you what I'm pulling out to now use up. And then I'm not going to give you updates like, oh, I've been using this for 6 weeks and I've used it up this far, and now I've used it up this far. I'm not going to do that, because for me, I don't find that interesting. When I watch Project Pan videos, that to me is kind of like, you know, I always think it's funny when I see somebody pull out a brand new lipstick and say they're going to use it up, and they're going to use it up like in 4 weeks. Like, you clearly don't wear makeup that often, because if you use it multiple applications a day, it's going to take you a handful of months to use that up. You know what I mean? So those kind of videos aren't really that interesting to me, but what you will see is when I finish them, they will be in my empties videos. Okay? And then, you know, as I'm finishing them up, I will show you what I'm now bringing in new to use up. Is that interesting to you guys that like the Project Pan stuff? Okay, so I think that's the way I'm going to handle project panning. But, you know, a lot of people are interested in these videos, and people have asked me about it in the past, and so I've been trying to come up with a way to do it, so this is how I'm going to do it. Okay, so let's talk about the products now that we've done all that jibber-jabbering. The most recent things I decided to pull out and focus on, I have a nail polish and I have a lipstick. The nail polish I actually pulled out because something I realized that I really don't project pan nail polishes. I really just kind of use them, and I use them up. You know, I mix and match them for forever until I use them up. And I've never really had nail polishes go bad on me to the point that I need to throw them away. Maybe I'm better at storing them than other people, or something, or maybe it has to do with the climate that I live in where that doesn't happen. I mean, knock on wood. But, you know, I've never had a situation where I'm like, I really need to use that polish, because if I wait, it's going to get, you know, it's going to dry up in the bottle and I won't be able to use it. I've not experienced that in my entire life, and I'm 40, so I guess I'm doing okay with that. But one thing I realized that is actually an item that I really haven't focused on using things up, so I thought I was adding some polishes to my list, and I thought, you know, let's start to do that. So what I'm more likely going to be purposely panning nail polishes with two things in mind. Number one, I'm probably going to be using them on my toes. And number two, I'm probably going to be doing that throughout the winter more than the summer, because in the summer, that's our time where we like to change our toenail polish, and you're wearing flip-flops and sandals and all that kind of stuff, right? So I don't necessarily want to swear that I'm going to be using this on my toes the entire summer and winter, and maybe summer again, and however long it takes until the product is gone, right? During this summer, I might change up what I'm wearing on my toes, but I might not. I might put this on my toes, and I might love it, and I might love it for the entire summer, and that's great, and then I'll keep wearing it through the winter, and whenever it's gone, it's gone. But more than likely, you'll see me project panning nail polishes more in the winter, because nobody's going to see my toes in the winter, and I can just keep painting it and painting it and painting it and painting it. And I won't get as bored with the fact that it's been on my toes for 6 months straight, because my feet are in socks and shoes anyway, so I won't even see it that often myself. Okay, So this is one that I talked to you guys about recently, and I had on Instagram, and I did a look with, but it is one that's they're not manufacturing this one anymore. You might be able to find it here and there, but I did an online search and I wasn't finding it that many places to purchase. So this is a Spoiled polish, which is a line by Wet n Wild, and it's called Show Me the Money, and it's like a green glittery, most people would probably use this as a top coat, but if you put 2 or 3 layers on, you can that glitter thickens up pretty well and just gives you a nice green sparkly look. So I'm going to have this on my toes this summer. If I want to change the polish on my toes to something else, I will, and I can. You might see me throw a little bit over some other polishes on my nails. You might see it kind of crop in just as another way to use it. And then if I still have it by this winter, I'll be using it all the time, all winter long on my toes, because nobody sees my toes in the wintertime anyway. So it's a good way to kind of use it up. Alright, there's nail polish. And then the other thing I pulled out was lipstick. And I normally do have a lipstick that I'm trying to use up. The last time I used up a lipstick, though, I decided I was going to do like every other one, like an old one and a new one for a little while. So I was using a product that you can still buy. It was a lip liner. You guys will remember I had it on like all winter. It was that red brick color, or brick red, whichever order it goes in, from Avon. It was a lip liner that I was wearing just as a lip color all on its own. But then once we got into spring, I kind of stopped using it because I was having fun with new bright colors. And then I realized I didn't have anything in my daily routine that was just like a slap on and go color or something I was purposely trying to use up. So I was like, you need to go get one and pull it out. So what I pulled out, this is one of the Avon glass, I think they're called Glass Reflections polishes, and they're like a glittery polish. The glass reflection is supposed to look like there's little bits of glass reflecting in the, not the polish, in the lipstick. And this one is called Glossy Spice. So, the packaging, this type of packaging comes and goes over and over and over again. This one, though, does have, I don't know if you can see it, it was like sparkly, a little bit sparkly on the packaging. It's a subtle sparkle, but it's there. And it has the A on the front, and this one has the, Avon is kind of etched into this, I don't know if this is plastic or metal. It kind of feels like metal. I'm not really sure here. And it's just kind of this, glossy brown color with some sparkle in it. And I'll go ahead and swatch it for you. It's kind of sheer. So it gives you like shine. And then, like I said, there is glitter in it, but it's not like overpowering glitter. So this is one that I can wear by itself, or I can layer over top of other things because it's sheer. There's a lot I can do with this. So this is going into my makeup bag, and it's now like my everyday lipstick. So when I'm just getting ready for everyday stuff, and I'm not doing some kind of special look, and I'm in a hurry, to hurry up and leave because I need to be at the office at a certain time or whatever, this just is going to be my go-to lipstick. So this is what I'm going to be throwing on every day until it's gone. And I do, I like lipstick, I use things until they're gone. So when I get down to where it's flat, I use a lip brush and I get all of the rest out because, there's really twice as much lipstick in a lipstick than what you think there is, because a lot of them have a lot down beyond the edge of the base that's holding the lipstick in. So I will be using this up till it's gone. So both of these, you may see me mention them here and there, but they are basically, I'm just basically using them to use them up, and I'm going to enjoy them. I'm going to enjoy that process. I'm not using them up because I don't like them. I'm just using them up because they are, the oldest or have been discontinued the longest or whatever kind of thing in my collection. And so that's just how I do it. Okay, so super long way to tell you guys about 2 products that I'm trying to get rid of. But I wanted to kind of explain to you what my process is and how I go about it, and what my brain is thinking when I'm figuring out my ways to do that, and why I'm doing it differently and not just doing a normal project pan video and that kind of thing. So this might be a good idea for you guys, to use if you're not doing a project pan, or or if you're the same as me and think, these girls are never going to finish those products in that amount of time, you know, they're just not being realistic. Or if you just don't want to force yourself to use an entire look all the time just to use things up. I'm not using these up because I feel like I need to force myself to use things up. For me, this is not a... Sometimes I hear that and I just feel like it comes from a negative place in a way. It's like... And I hear them talk about it, and I'm so sick of using this color, I can't wait till it's gone, you know, that kind of stuff. I don't ever feel that way, usually. I find some challenges here and there, like, for example, if I'm trying to use up, like, a bright cobalt blue eyeliner or something, I find some challenges sometimes where maybe it doesn't, if I am playing around a little bit, but I'm going to use it, I have to be more creative and more artistic and better at my makeup and how I use it to get it to work sometimes. But I never feel like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for this to be gone, or I'm so sick of using this product, or I'm so whatever. And I think it's because it's not every single day. I don't wear makeup every single day anyway. I give myself days off, and then I have days where I'm purposely going for a certain look, or I'm purposely like doing videos for you guys, or you know, like a tutorial, or I'm purposely playing around with something that I got that's new and that kind of thing. So I never feel there's no negative connotation to it for me at all. It's, you know, it's just how I do it, and it works for me, and I enjoy the process that I set up, which is why I've set it up this way, because it doesn't feel like a negative thing or like I'm forcing myself to do something. Okay, so if any of you have been doing project pans and you feel like you're forcing yourself to use stuff up, you know, maybe this would be a way that you could do it without feeling that way. Or maybe you shouldn't focus on so many products and just have one or two, you know. Just keep some kind of list so you know what your oldest products are, but don't force yourself to wear an entire look of them. Just use one or two up at a time and keep using your newer things at the same time. You're still going to use up products one way or another. If you use up a new product before you use up an old product, you're still using up a product, right? So as long as you're using things up, no matter what, you're good. Okay, so that's all. I'm going to quit blabbering, and I hope you enjoyed this, and hopefully it was helpful, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!